All right, welcome back to the channel. So, man, this boxing stuff is not getting boring with Tyson Fury in it. Tyson Fury's manager, Daniel Kinahan, is reported to be on the run from authorities from Ireland and international policing agencies. Now, tell me if this was Deontay Wilder that was going through all of this, how much of this stuff would be in the mainstream media? Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So I want you guys to do me a favor and imagine that Deontay Wilder has pictures in a fight against Tyson Fury with all of his knuckles and fingers being clearly visible in a glove. Also, Deontay Wilder's manager, around the time that these pictures are seen, is discovered to be a reputed international crime boss. And once it comes out that Deontay Wilder's manager was involved with Deontay Wilder's fights, that multiple countries issue warnings about participating in any fights arranged by Deontay Wilder's manager. Just imagine the headlines on Boxing Scene. Imagine the headlines on Ring Magazine. Imagine the headlines on ESPN. Just imagine, with a story like that, heavyweight champion of the world gets caught with loaded gloves and his manager is fleeing from international authorities because it is rumored because they believe that he is involved in money laundering, heroin dealing, ecstasy dealing, and arms dealing. Oh, and cocaine. Now, could you imagine if that was Deontay Wilder and how you would hear that everywhere? Imagine even more so that was Floyd Mayweather Jr. And tell me that you do not believe that this would be all over the place. But for some strange reason, very few people are talking about this, even though this is exactly what is happening with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's manager, Daniel Kinahan, is now reported not to be in Dubai anymore. But once it was discovered that Daniel Kinahan was involved with Tyson Fury's fights, so much heat came down from international law enforcement agencies that the man had to get up and skedaddle, could not even go to the funeral of his mother-in-law, his wife's mother in Ireland. It's unknown whether or not his wife even went to his mother-in-law's funeral, because they fear, according to reports, that they are going to get arrested on sight if they come anywhere near Ireland. But yet you don't hear anybody saying anything about it on Boxing Scene. You don't hear anything about it on ESPN. You don't hear anything about it with Ring Magazine. You don't hear anything about it with World Boxing News. You don't hear anything at all about it outside of Irish political newspapers, where it's not in the sports column. However, it's such a big issue that it's not just the president of the Taoiseach of Ireland that called and tried to make sure that this guy wasn't involved. It was also other prominent leaders of the two political parties. I think there's just two. There might be three, but I think it's the Conservative Party, and I can't remember the other name in Ireland, and I might have got the Conservative Party wrong. But regardless, the two leaders of the political parties in Ireland also warned people that this guy should not be allowed at all around the sport of boxing. But not a word from anybody that is a supporter of Tyson Fury. It's amazing. Adrian Bronner can take a dump in Wendy's And it is all over every boxing website that there is. It's amazing. I mean, wouldn't you say that this is as significant? This is as significant as Adrian Bronner or Gervonta Davis getting in an argument with his girlfriend at a basketball game? Why would you cover Gervonta Davis getting in a scuffle in a gym or getting into a disagreement with his girlfriend, but not say anything about Tyson Fury's ties to a reputed international crime boss who is now on the run? But not a word. Not a word. It's almost as if the boxing media really aren't journalists. It's almost like what they really are public relations messengers for promoters and boxers, and that they will, in exchange for access to the fighter, to the fight, to the press conference, that they will talk about what it is that the promoter or the fighter, but for the most part, the promoter, what the promoter wants them to talk about. It's almost like they rely upon their job, that they rely upon access that the promoter give them in order for them to continue earning a living in the sport of boxing. It looks somewhat like that. However, not a word. Also, not a word about, because Tyson Fury's not the only one. There's also a champion over there in the UK named Billy Ho Saunders, who's the WBO 168-pound title, that is so appalled by the idea that Daniel Kinahan won't be involved in boxing that he said that he would rather retire from the sport of boxing than be in it without his manager, Daniel Kinahan. Now, again, this is a guy, and I don't know if any of this is true. This guy might very well be completely innocent of all charges. It might be that he just has, a name that's associated with his father, Christy Kinahan, who served some time in jail, but really that it's just a misunderstanding and that Daniel Kinahan has nothing to do with it. It may very well be the case. However, that it's not known to be the case, and major and countries, members of, man, I wonder if Ireland a member of NATO? That's a shame. I don't remember all the international bodies, but Ireland is a pretty significant country in the world, and seeing as they think that it's important, and it's important enough for their president or Taoiseach and the leaders of their two political parties or two of their political parties to make such a big stink about it, you would think that it would be worth talking about. But Billy Joe Saunders says, no, I don't even want to fight anymore if I can't fight for this guy. Billy Joe Saunders said, if I don't even want to be in the sport of boxing, if this man is not in the sport of boxing to protect me, because that's what he said. He said, because how else am I going to go around and these guys are going to screw me over, screw my money over. And if I don't have him there to work with me, I don't know if there's anybody that I can trust in all of the sport of boxing. Wonder what he does wonder what it is about this man that makes it so hard, makes Billy Joe Saunders so sure that nobody will mess with him or screw him over if this guy is his manager. I wonder if that has anything to do with why he had to leave Dubai, or it's rumored that he left Dubai and he's now country hopping from place to place in the Middle East, and why they have charges. My understanding is that charges are about to be filed on him imminently. And that's why he's on the run, but not a word. Now, again, people told me, hey, Fanon, don't talk too much about organized crime. Don't talk about that. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the necessity and people's hesitancy to talk about things like this, because, it's, can be a rough world out there. But when you're a journalist, And I'm not saying I'm a journalist, and you see me, I'm trying to, hey, I'm just talking boxing the best I can. But as a boxing fan, I just cannot understand for the life of me why it is that boxing scene doesn't think this is important. They talk about, because if it was just the fact that there was no glove, that the padding on is, if it wasn't just that they weren't talking about, if it was just, let me make sure I say this right. If it was just that these boxing outlets wouldn't be talking or aren't talking about the fact that the dude had no padding in his gloves, right? If it wasn't just for the fact that, they weren't talking about that, would be one thing. But they're not talking about this either. It's almost as if these people don't want to say anything negative about Tyson Fury, anything negative about the fight with Deontay Wilder, or the fact that there's a reputed international crime boss that was involved with it. It's just, don't you find it kind of funny? You would think all this stuff would be big news, but it's just one old little YouTube channel talking about it. And as far as I don't know anybody besides me and the Irish and the Irish newspapers and the, United Arab Emirates and Interpol and the CIA. Other than that, nobody's interested in it, man. It's crazy. Anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.